Everyone, welcome back to Safety with POM, your go-to channel for everything health and safety, environment, food safety, ISO standards, sustainability, environment, etc. You name it. So, whether you are a safety professional, student, or safety enthusiast, so believe me, you are in the right place to learn and grow. So, if you find values in our videos, please do not forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you will never miss an update. So guys, I'm going to start the new training sessions for the new different topics, which is the process safety management. Believe me guys, process safety management is a very important training topic if you are working in any process industry, manufacturing, oil and gas, or chemical plant, chemical industry, wherever you are working. Believe me, this training is very important and very crucial to avoid any health and safety hazard and risk. Okay, and this training going to be very long, so I will upload around 19 to 20 lessons will be there different. Okay, if you have done any training regarding the process safety management, such as process safety management NEBOSH, you have seen that there are only 4 lectures will be there in the process safety management in the NEBOSH. So the first lesson they are doing in the NEBOSH, the first one is the process safety management introduction and the leadership to the process safety management. Then they have the second topic that they are discussing in the process safety management endeavor, that is management of process risk and developing the process safety management. Then the third they are discussing in that lesson, that is related to the process safety hazard control and site operating procedures. Then in the fourth lesson they are discussing about the fire control and explosion related thing. So those only 4 topics is been discussed in NEBOSH process safety management. Okay, but I feel somehow these topics are very what you call it's limited topics. There are only 4 topics where other major basic things has been discussed, but other important things I feel that personally that these things were not included in that one. So this training regarding the process safety management, I have included each and everything which will provide you very detailed information about the process safety management. So let's start this training, process safety management lesson 1. Sorry. So first lesson we'll go through the definitions, we'll go through the what you call this introduction part, what are the things we're going to use in the process safety management. Okay, such as what if analysis, such as hazard what you call method that we're going to use it, and certain other different what you call health and safety related definition, norms, standards that we're going to discuss in this part. So it will give you the basic information about the process safety management, which will be helpful for you for the next lessons. Okay, so let's start with the definition. The first definition, we have the safety, then we have the hazard and risk. So safety means anything, safety or loss prevention in the prevention of accidents. Okay, by the use of appropriate technology to identify the hazards of chemical plant. So when we are talking about the safety, this safety is related to the process safety management, such as chemical plant, oil and gas industry, refinery, and certain other industries. Okay, so safety means avoiding any type of hazard and risk before that particular hazard or risk converted into the accidents. Okay, so that is the safety. It is the what you can say is it is the safety means free from any kind of hazard and risk. Okay, that is the safety. And hazard, as we know that hazard has the same definition. Hazard means anything which can cause harm or which has the potential to cause harm. So that is the hazard. Then we have the risk. Risk is the proper probability of hazards resulting in an accident, or we can say that risk is the risk equal to likelihood and the consequences. That is the risk. So in in this process safety management, hazard identification is very important. Okay, if you will not identify the hazard, then your process safety management will be totally fail. So hazard identification is very important. In process safety management, hazard identification is completely different. Okay, it is different from the different industries, constructions, such as what you call aerospace or certain other industry, it's going to be totally different. So hazard identification in process safety, it is an inherent physical or chemical characteristics that has the potential for causing harm to people, environment, or property. Okay, inherent physical or chemical characteristics. So what is the meaning of inherent? Inherent means anything by the nature, by itself, it is hazard. Okay, so hazard are intrinsic to a material. Okay, they could be intrinsic to the material or its conditions of use. Okay, so let's understand these things by the examples. So inherent hazards, let's say that hydrogen sulfide. So by nature, hydrogen sulfide is a toxic gas. Okay, when you will inhale this one, that is toxic. So by nature, it is hazard, toxic. Then the second thing is a moving machinery, equipment related. Equipment related moving machinery, we have the kinetic energy, we have the pinch points. Okay, by nature, these are hazardous. Then the third, we have the gasoline. So gasoline by nature, it is flammable. So by nature, anything which is hazardous, that's called the inherent physical or chemical characteristics that has the potential for causing harm to the people, to the environment, and to the property. So that's called the inherent hazard. Sorry. So whenever we do any process safety management related process, any industrial process, there are some questions that you need to ask. So when you are asking these questions, you need to be very, very specific. What are the questions you're going to ask, where you are asking, okay, and the way you are asking these questions related to the process. So there are certain questions that you have to ask. Let's say that the first one, what are the hazards? So you have to do the hazard identification. Then you will answer these questions. Then once you identify the hazards, you have to understand the process. You have to read the process. Okay, you have to walk the process. Then you will answer these questions: what can go wrong and how, related to the process design also and certain other production process. Then what are the chances, the likelihood, and the consequences? Okay, what are the chances of the production process will fail, equipment will fail? Okay, those questions you have to ask. Okay, chances of failure. Then if this failure will happen, what are the consequences will be happen, whether it is low, medium, or high, that you have to question also. Then only you will identify this question, what are the consequences. So these are the four main questions that you have to ask during the process safety management. Okay, when you are doing any study related to the process safety management, these are the questions you have to ask, and you have to get the proper answer for these questions. Sorry. Then in process safety management, you have to do the what if analysis also. So whenever you do the process safety, what you call management or process safety analysis, you will do, you have to do this one in a team. Single person can't do this one. As we know that when we do the investigation, when we do any develop any SOPs, develop any manual, we have to get the team, because you need the expertise from the different department to give their inputs, give their ideas, give their suggestions. Only then you will do the proper documentation, proper process analysis that you will do. So same thing you have to do in the process safety management. We are calling it what if analysis. Okay, by the team. So by the team, when you will do the what if analysis, it's also you have to answer the questions. Okay, you have to ask the question and you have to answer the questions also. So begin, you have to with the what if. So each question, it will represent a potential failure in the facility, or misoperation of the facility, or equipment failure, the response of the process, or the operator is evaluated. So these are the things will be asked during the what if analysis. So these are the questions that in this way you can ask whenever you are conducting a what if analysis. Related to the equipment failure, you can ask the question, what if a valve leaks? Okay, what if the valve leaks, what will happen? So you have to go forward. Okay, you have to ask the different question. What if valve fail, what will happen? If the valve is leaks, what will happen? What are the consequences? What are the hazards? What are the risks? Okay, those are the things you have to ask. Okay, forward. Then the human error related question you can ask, what if operator fails to restart the pump? Okay, if the operator fails to restart the pump, what is the risk? Okay, what is the consequences? What is the likelihood and the severity? All these things you have to check, and what are the control measures are there in place already. Okay. Then the external events also you have to consider whenever you are doing the what if analysis. External events where you don't have the very limited control or where you don't have any control at all. So those are the external events. So you can ask, what if a very hard freeze persists? Okay. If there is a snowfall, what will happen? If there is a very what you call high rain, okay, if there is any flood, and that flood water went into the what you call any chamber, any what you call any pump, or any different kind of tanks, so what will happen? So those things you have to check also. So when we do the what if analysis, it's related to the material, such as what if the raw material contains impurities, that also you have to ask. Okay. Then what if cooling water is lost? What if the vessel agitation stops? What if power supply fails? And what if the temperature press sensor fails? And what if the pump stops? So etc. These are the questions you can ask during the process safety management whenever you are conducting the what if analysis. You have to gather as much question as possible. The more the questions you will gather from the different teams, okay, your process safety will be the more safer. Okay, it will give you the more shield from the hazard and the risk. Okay, and it will give you the protection. That kind of protection you will get it from the hazard and the risk related to the process safety. So do not avoid the questions, get the questions as much as possible. That is the key. Okay. So when we are conducting the what if analysis, there are certain steps that you have to follow. Okay. First of all, divide the system. You have to divide the system into the smaller logical or subsystems. Why we have to divide it? Because when you will do the whole thing at one time, it will be very difficult. People will think that they will lose their scope, they will lose the goal, what they are actually trying to achieve. So that's why divide the things in a different parts. First try to solve one part, then move to the second, then move to the third and the fourth. So in that way the work will look smaller. Okay, it's look easy, and people will get interact also. So that's why we have to divide the system into the smaller logical and the subsystems. After that, you have to identify the list of questions. First of all, identify the list of questions that you want to answer from that particular kind of smaller logical or subsystem. Then you have to select the questions. What's the questions you want to take related to that particular system. Then you have to identify the hazard. Then you will identify the consequences, severity, likelihood, etc. Other things which is related to your process and the system. Then you have, once you identify all these things, okay, then you have to recommendations to control these things. Okay, you have to provide the control measures, recommendations to avoid such risk. Repeat step 2 through 4 until complete. Okay, so you have to step 2 identify list of questions until 4, until unless it is completed the first one. Okay, so every process you have to repeat the same thing from here to here. Okay, that you have to do. HAZOP study is one of the main thing that we have to conduct in the process safety management. Okay, if you will not conduct the HAZOP study, then sorry, the process safety management is fail. That's going to fail, and it is totally what you call not the proper one, or it will not work on the ground. Okay, so first of all, let's go to the definition. What is the HAZOP? Okay, and what is the HAZOP study? So HAZOP, first of all, stands for has. Okay, has means hazard, OP means operability, and study means study. So HAZOP operability study, it is the full form of the HAZOP. So HAZOP study, it is a structured systematic technique so to identify the potential hazards related to the operation, okay, operability problems in the industrial process, particularly in oil and gas, chemical, pharmaceutical, manufacturing industries, refineries. Okay, so there you can use this HAZOP study to particularly identify the hazards, okay, potential hazards and their operation related problems in the industrial process. So that is the HAZOP study. So we have to conduct the HAZOP analysis also. In that one, we have to identify the hazards. The hazards will be related to the safety, health, environment, and process related, which prevent the efficient operation. So these study related to the hazard. We have to conduct these things. Safety programs. So the safety regulation, it will require some ingredients to have a proper safety program, safety regulations. Otherwise, the safety regulations, safety programs will not work. First of all, the persons who is working in the process safety management, they should have a proper knowledge. So let's say that you are identifying a team and that team don't have any knowledge, okay? They don't know anything about the process safety, they don't know the design related thing, they don't know the maintenance related thing, then sorry, you have selected the wrong team. Go again and select the proper team who has the proper knowledge about the process safety related. Otherwise, don't select the particular person. Then person should have at least basic understanding about the safety. Okay, they should have a safety experience also. So that team member should be there also in your hazard team, hazard study team. Okay. Then technical competencies also you have to get it. Okay, competent person should be there. Only the safety personnel cannot do the hazard study. Okay, process safety management related things cannot do, because the safety professional doesn't have the technical related knowledge, information, and experience. So that's why you have to get the technical person. Then the safety management support also. Okay, you must get the safety professional in the process safety management. Okay, then commitment, which is required by all person. If the commitment is not there from all the person, then your process safety management will fail. Okay, nobody will work on that one. There are some scope under the elements of process safety management. These are the scopes. We have to make sure that we are compliant with these are the scope. First of all, employee participation is required, very, very important. Each and every employee should participate in this one. You have to get the view from the each and every person. Only then you will get the actual picture of the process safety management. Then process safety information that also need to be provided. Process safety hazard analysis. As I inform you, what if analysis or hazard study that we have to conduct, operating procedures should be there. Then the training need to provide for each and everyone. Contractor safety also need to be checked. If you will not include the contractor safety in the process safety management, then contractor might cause some accident and incident that will not controlled by the process safety management. So that's why I include them also in the process safety management. Pre-startup safety review is very, very important. Before starting any process, before going through any process, starting any machinery, anything, pre-startup safety review is very, very important. Then mechanical integrity, hot work permits. Every hot work should be controlled by the permit. I hope you remember Piper Alpha incident, okay, where the permit was not handed over to the second shift properly, then the major incident happened over there, Piper Alpha, okay. Then we have the management of change. If there is any little change also in the design, you have to redo the process safety management, okay, hazard study, you have to redo. Do not avoid any minor changes in the design, safety thing, wall, any tank, anything. Do not avoid that one. Okay, there are major incident and accidents is there in the history where minor changes in the design that has caused the catastrophic accident. Okay, fatal accidents was there. Okay, and so many people they have lose their life. So that's why do not avoid any management of change. Then we have the accident investigation. Accident investigation should be robust. Okay, each and every team member should be involved in the accident investigation to get the proper information, knowledge, and their expertise. So that's why each and every person should avail there. After that, compliance audit. Emergency planning and response. So God forbid if there is any accident or incident or an emergency happen, what is the plan? What is your plan for emergency? How you gonna deal with that? Whom you gonna report it? What is the protective measure to protect your environment, your surroundings, your neighbors? How you gonna protect them? So all these things should be there in the emergency planning and response. After that, you have to conduct the compliance audit. The audits will be there, the two types of audit, internal and external. Could be from the certification body, could be from the legal bodies, could be from the OSHA, or could be from the different government bodies. Okay, could be there. Then the trade secrets also. So trade secrets also you have to also manage. So these are the scopes that we have to cover under the process safety management. Okay, so when you are doing any process safety management, make sure you not leaving any single point from these 14 points. Okay, these 14 points you should include under your process safety management scope. It's very, very important. Feature and characteristics of management system for process safety. Okay, first of all, planning is very, very important. Well defined goals, objectives you have to set before starting any process safety. You have to make sure that consideration of alternative achievement mechanisms, well defined inputs and resources, that requirements should be identified. Okay, identification of needed tools, training, that you have to do under the planning sections. Okay, what are the things you required to have a successful process safety management, that you have to do under the planning. Okay, then once you will plan, then you have to detailed work plans, specific milestones for accomplishments, initiating mechanisms. So you have to implement those things. Once you will implement that one, you have to a strong organizing. Then you have to organizing a strong sponsorship, clear lines of authority, who will do what are the authority they have, what are the roles and responsibility they have, such as JD. So separate JD you have to create it for under the process safety management, like what are the things they will do on that one. Then explicit assignment of roles and responsibility, that you have to give them and what they will do, how they will control, whom they will report, everything should be there in their roles and responsibility. And the internal coordination and communication, how there will be an internal coordination and communication, whom they will communicate, whom they will coordinate, everything should be included in that one. After that, at the end, you have to control this full process. How you going to control this? So performance standards, measurement methods, check and balance, audits, inspections, safety reports, third party audits, okay, second party audit, okay, performance measurement and reporting, internal audits, KPIs, okay, so many things could be there. Corrective action, preventive actions, okay, and processor renewal, reauthorization, so many things is there. So by all these things, planning, implementation, organizing and controlling, by these four things, you will control the process safety management. Okay, so in this way you have to control it. So safety programs is related like to the chemical disaster. There could be two different types of, okay, one is biotic environment and second one is abiotic environment. When there is a chemical disaster related to the biotic environment, it will cause death to the human, livestock and plants. Okay, these three things will be affected: death, injury, disease and disability. You remember Bhopal methyl isocyanate related gas tragedy, which has happened in 1984. In there, you have seen that there was a death of human, there was an injury also, and there was a disease also, which is still there. Okay, there human died, livestock died, okay, plants also died. Okay, it is related to the biotic environment. Then we have the immediate abiotic environment. It will only cause the hazard to the properties such as soil, water bodies and atmosphere, and it will cause the pollution only. So biotic environment, immediate short term and long term effects could be there. Okay, abiotic and abiotic both. So there are so many incident and accident, but before any incident and accident, each and every person they think that yes, we are safe and nothing will happen to us. But there are so many incidents in the history which taught us that no, we were wrong, that and we haven't controlled our risk and hazard properly related to the process safety, and that's why that caused so many incidents in the past and which is still going on. So good companies can be lulled into a false sense of security. As I told you that they can be in misperceptions that yes, my safety system is very good, up to the standard, it is top notch, and nothing will happen to us. So that is a false sense they have. So that is the main cause of incident and accidents, when the people don't accept and when they will don't go in the deep to investigate or try to find out the problems in the system. Then they may not realize how vulnerable they are to a major accident until it has happened. As I told you that until it has not happened, everyone think that it is safe and nothing gonna happen to them. So subsequent investigations typically show that were multiple causes, and many of these were known long before the event. You remember British Petroleum Deepwater Horizon? So that is one of the major oil spill was there also, and there was so many accidents there. So you can see this one. Why and how defense fail? It is very, very important, and this is very important questions, that why and how the defense is failing. So people often, as I told you, that assume that work is intended despite and warning signs. They don't take care sometimes. Examples of good performance are cited as representing the whole, but while the poor ones are overlooked, or soon people they will forget it. Okay, they will not learn the lesson. Okay, lesson learned is very, very important from the past. So past is teaching us so many things. The past has taught so many things to us, but still people they forgot that one, their past. Analysis of failure modes and effects should include human and organizational aspects. So as well as equipment and physical and IT systems also. So that should be included in the defense system. So process safety management, recognition of seriousness of consequences and mechanism. So that is very, very important. Okay. So that we have to identify during the process safety management. And many of the key decisions influencing safety may be beyond the control of the worker or even the site. They may be made by people at another site, country, or organizations. So this is the typical problem in safety. Okay, sometimes the people they will conduct the risk assessment in different sites, and they will implement that risk assessment in different sites. So that is also can be done in the process safety. The people can sit in the different office, different areas, and they will do the process safety management and design, evaluation, and so many things they will do. So that is the very, very wrong thing that should be avoided. So it will cause differ from those for personal safety, and need to look at the whole. Okay, you should not look only one thing in the process safety. You have to look each and everything: material, equipment, systems, people, everything you have to look. Then management system approach for control need to be implemented to control the process safety related hazard. The most effective means of implementing a safety aspect is to make it everyone responsibility into a process plant. Okay, not only one person should take the responsibility of the process safety. Okay, each and every person should take their responsibility. They should own the safety. So the culture need to be changed. Very, very important. The older concept there was there, identifying a few employees to be responsible for safety, that will not gonna work. So you have to make sure that all employees have the responsibility, sorry, have the responsibility regarding the safety. Okay, process safety. So everyone should take the responsibility, and it is very, very important to recognize the distinctions between a good and outstanding safety process. So only good is not enough, we have to go for the outstanding. Okay, so that we have to do under the safety aspects. So safety aspects, as a good safety process identifies and eliminates existing safety hazards. An outstanding safety process has management system which prevent the existence of safety hazard. So this is the difference between the good safety process. So good safety process, what it will do, it will identify and eliminate the existing safety hazards. Okay, that is a good safety practice. But if you want to achieve an outstanding safety process, management system, it will prevent the existence of safety hazards. So whatever the safety hazard is exists over there, that will avoid that one also. But the good safety process, it will identify and eliminate the existing safety hazards. So that is a key difference. Process safety is related to the inherent safety, as I told you that inherent hazard related. Okay, then the hazard identification and the risk assessment need to be done. So these are the three things are included in the process safety. Inherent safer process, so reduction or elimination of hazard which is related to the process. And this will reduce, eliminate is permanent and inseparable from the process. So that is very, very important under the inherent safety process. So such as the example of use a less toxic raw material to produce a product rather than using a highly toxic or highly flammable. So substitution you have to get it under the inherently safer process. So you have to make the process safe. Inherently safer process you have to do. I hope you remember about the hierarchy of control. So similar like here, we have to minimize, okay, reduce quantity in process. Then we have the substitute, okay, use less hazardous raw material, moderate, use a low temperature and pressure. Then the simplify, reduce unnecessary complexity in the design and operation. So similar kind of thing, we have to use it in the inherently safer process methods. Then we have the hazard identification versus risk assessment procedures. So hazard identification methods will remain the similar, some type. Okay, the hazard identification methods, we have to use the process hazard checklist under the process safety. We have to do the hazard survey. We have to do the hazard study, hazard and operability study. We have to conduct, and we have to do the safety review. Then when we are conducting this risk assessment, then you have to ask the question what can go wrong and how. Remember these questions which we have asked earlier, and what are the chances of those things can go wrong, and what are the consequences that you have to check under the risk assessment. Example, low probability, minimal consequences could be there. Okay, so in this way you have to check it. So you can do like this way also. Okay, so hazard identification is very, very important. But why the hazard identification is very, very important? If you will not identify the hazard, what you will control? Simple answer, simple question, right? If you will not identify the hazard, what you will control? You will not control the accident incident. So that's why you have to identify the hazard. Very, very important. That's why to identify hazard so that can be eliminated or controlled. How you can identify? Using a number of available procedures that you have. So the accident process, let's go to the accident process. So most of the accidents, any incidents, they follow a three-step sequence. First is the initiation. So what is the initiation? Initiation means it is the starting process of the accident. In this process, accident didn't happen yet. It is in the starting process. The propagation, the second process, accidents already happened, event already happened. Now it is in the progression. It is progressing. In this propagation, accident will go worse to worse. Then we have the termination. At this stage, accident will stop. Okay, the event or events that stop the accident or diminish in its size. So accident process, it is unrealistic to accept elimination of all initiations. So we cannot avoid all of the initiation. A much more effective approach is to work on all three areas to ensure that accidents once initiated do not propagate and will terminate as quickly as possible. Okay, all the accidents you cannot avoid it, but if any incident or accident happen, how you can avoid or how you can reduce their consequences. So that is the main thing that we have to concentrate also. So defeating the accident process. You remember what's called a Final Destination movie? In that one, the one of the guy who survived from the accident, they tried to save the people by defeating the line of death. So similar way. So that you can imagine here. So first of all, initiation. So let's start with the initiation process. Then desired effect, diminish. So process of what we can do, grounding and bonding. It is very, very important. Inerting, explosion proof electrical, guardrails and guards, maintenance procedures, hot work permits, human factor designs, process design, awareness of dangerous properties of chemical. So these are the things, procedures that you can use that can be in the step of initiation. Desired effect, we want to diminish it. Okay. Then the second step, we have the propagation. And what is the desired effect? The diminish. So procedures of propagation, what you can do? Emergency material transfer. During the emergency, if any emergency happen, let's say that there is 1,000 kg of flammable gases in one of the store, how you can remove those 1,000 kg flammable gases which is not under the fire act. Reduce inventories of flammable materials, equipment, spacing and layout. How to segregate the equipment so the one hazard will not transfer to the another equipment. Non-flammable construction material, so the fire will not spread. Installation of check and emergency sort of walls. So these are you can steps you can implement during the propagation stage where the fire or any accident will not go worse or will not go forward. Then we have the termination. So the termination, it is need to be increased. Termination means avoiding the accident. Stopping the accident. Firefighting equipment and procedures, relief systems, sprinkler systems, installation of check and emergency sort of walls, which will act during the emergency to stop any fire, any emergency at that time. Accidents and loss statistics is very, very important. So as I told you that we have to look at the past of the accidents and the statistics So these are the important measures of the effectiveness of safety process. So these statistics and accidents of the past can teach you so many things. So that's why we need to look them very carefully. We have to identify them. So mostly they represent only average and do not reflect the potential for single episode involving any substantial losses. So that you have to keep in mind. So accidents and loss statistics, how you can get it. There are measure systems such as OSHA incident rate, fatal accident rate, okay, that we have to count also. OSHA fatality rate or deaths per person year. So these are the statistics that we have to count also. There are some different statistics also in there in the HSE, okay, that we will talk in a separate video that I will upload in my channel. Accident and loss statistics. OSHA incident rate, if you are under the OSHA regulations, then the term incidence rates, it is the means of number of injuries and illness or lost work days per 100 full-time workers. So OSHA calculate per 100 full-time workers. So as based on cases per 100 workers years, worker 2000 hours. So 50 workers week per year into 40 hours a week. In that way, you have to calculate OSHA incident rate. And normally we calculate 2000 hours of worker exposure to a hazards. Accidents and loss statistics, OSHA incident rate calculated. Okay, how you can calculate it, the number of occupational injuries that you have to get, and the illness and the total number of employees hours worked during the applicable period. Accident and loss statistics, in the same way you have to calculate the occupation illness. An employee is an abnormal conditions or disorders other than one resulting from occupational injury, so that you have to calculate it under the occupational illness. Sorry. So occupational illness, it will include the acute and chronic illness also, and the disease maybe it can be caused by the inhalation, absorption, or direct contact by any kind of hazard or the chemical. So lost work days also are those days which the employees didn't resume their work, didn't come to the work. Those days will calculated as a LTI. We are calling as lost time injury as well. So lost work days, continuous number of days include all days consecutive or not on which because of injury or illness the employee would have worked but could not. The employee was assigned to a temporary job. Okay, if the employee is not working in one section but you are transferring that employee to the another area, that will not count as lost work days because the person is still there in the factory or in the organizations. So as long as the person is working under the organization, it is physically available or working from the home, the person will not count as a lost work days. So recorded cases, accident, loss and statistics, there is a recorded cases, non-recordable cases also is there, and involving one-time treatment. Non-fatal cases without lost work days are cases of occupational injury or illness which do not involve fatalities or lost work days but did not result in transfer to another job or termination of employee, medical treatment other than first aid, diagnosis of occupational illness, and restriction of work or motion. Okay, these will calculated as under the non-fatal cases without lost work days. OSHA incidence rate, it is based on the injury and the illness. Occupational illness rate, how we have to calculate, as I told you that, number of injuries and illness, and you have to multiply by 200,000. Okay, in that way you have to calculate. Let's say that number of injury or illness, I will give you the calculation, it is 4 and sorry, it is multiply by 200,000. Okay, I'm not writing full 200,000. So it is 200,000. So 200,000 into 4, so into 4, it is 800,000. Okay, now the person 800,000. This one you need to divide it by the total hours worked by all employees during period covered. So let's say that there are 100 employees and the 100 employees they are working 8 hours in a day, and so 100 employees working 8 hours in a day. So there is a 800 hours in a day they are working. Now the 800 you have to, if you want to take out 800 hours in a day, then the persons they are working in what you call 24 days in a month, then you have to multiply 24 into 8. Okay, then after then this one you have to calculate in a year. Okay, because whatever you will calculate it, that you have to calculate for the 1 year. So whatever the number will come, that number you have to use here. Okay, so let me calculate in my phone. I'm calculating that one. You can calculate by your side also. So let me go to the calculator. So 800 hours in a day into 24, it is 19,200 hours in a month. 19,200 hours into 12. So it is 230,400. Now this 230,400 you have to divide this one 800,000. So let's divide this one 800,000. So it is 0.22. Oh wait, 800,000 need to divide it by. So it will come somewhere around 3. Okay, so that in that way you have to calculate the injury rate. So fatal accident rate also is there in the same way, number of fatalities. Okay, the fatality rate is based on working hours, the number of hours they are working, and total hours worked by all employees covered. So this formula you have to use it. Then fatality rate, number of fatalities per year, total number of people in applicable population. In that way you have to count it. Accident and loss statistics, property damage and loss of production such as must also be considered whenever you are calculating these things. And these losses can be substantial also. And accident of these types are much more common than fatalities. Sorry. The exact numbers whenever you are calculating any statistics could be the very as per the accident, as per the industry, location and time. And it is frequently we are saying that the cause of an accident is visible the day before it is occurs. Okay, so before it is occurring any accident or incident, there could become sign also, some indication also. Okay, inspection, safety reviews, careful evaluation of near misses will identify hazardous conditions which can be corrected before any accident or incident. So these will give you the signal, and these are the control measures. So that's all from my side for this video, lesson 1 in process safety management. I hope you like this video. Okay, and the training which I have provided you now. The next one will be the lesson 2. In that lesson 2, we will discuss about the major accident which has happened in the past, and we will try to identify why these accidents happen, which is related to the process safety management. Okay, so thank you so much for your time, and see you in the next video.